The moment that video dropped, it wasn't just a cute family clip, it was a ticking time bomb. Because within hours, people weren't smiling, they were investigating. And what they found, it didn't just raise eyebrows, it shattered the entire story wide open. This was supposed to be simple, a wholesome, heart-melting moment. Meghan Markle sharing a video of her son Archie skiing for the first time, with Prince Harry proudly filming from behind. A perfect little snapshot of their authentic California family life. Clean, relatable, carefully packaged, but something felt off. Not slightly off, deeply, uncomfortably off. Because the internet doesn't just watch anymore, it examines, frame by frame, pixel by pixel. And within hours, viewers began tearing this video apart like forensic analysts on a mission. And suddenly, that innocent clip, it started to look like a performance, a constructed moment, a story that didn't quite line up with reality.
The video that Meghan Markle posted as recent as of now, and I can prove it to you, that is not Archie.
This is where everything begins to unravel, because what people noticed wasn't just one small inconsistency, it was a pattern, a disturbing pattern that has followed Meghan and Harry for years. Every image, every video, every personal moment now comes with a question mark, and that is not normal. Look closely at the video. The child skiing down that slope doesn't move like a beginner, not even close. There's no hesitation, no wobbling, no fear, no instructor holding them steady, no beginner struggles, just smooth, confident motion like someone who's done this before, many times before. And that's where the first crack appears. Because Meghan's caption, it tells a completely different story. She calls Archie a quick learner, heavily implying this is his first time skiing. But anyone who has ever seen a child on skis knows the truth instantly. This is not what a first-timer looks like. And once that realization hits, everything else starts falling apart. The background, the shadows, the ski lift, even the pacing of the video, it all starts to feel unnatural, as if different elements don't belong in the same moment, as if something has been stitched together. Then comes the detail that completely blows this open. The photo used by major outlets to support this story, the one showing Prince Harry with Justin Trudeau and a professional skier. It was presented as proof that this was a recent family ski trip. But here's the twist. That photo is not recent, it's from 2024, taken during Harry's visit to Whistler to promote the Invictus Games. Documented, timestamped, public record. Anyone can verify it in seconds.
You can see Meghan Markle's video of the child, allegedly Archie, that is supposed to be taken at the same time that Harry's skiing with Trudeau. That child is about 7 or 8 years old, is very advanced. That kid is not Archie.
So now we have a serious problem. If that photo is from 2024 and the video is being presented as part of the same trip, then the timeline collapses instantly. Because in 2024, Archie would have been around 5 years old. But the child in that video doesn't look 5, not even close. People with experience around kids immediately noticed it. The height, the movement, the coordination. Everything suggests an older child, closer to 7 or 8. And that's not a minor detail. That's a fundamental contradiction. And yet, not a single major outlet questioned it. Not one. Hello, Magazine, GB News, BBC, Page 6. All of them ran the story as if it were unquestionable truth. No timeline checks, no basic verification, no curiosity. Just publish, move on, collect clicks.
Who is filming? I think Harry's the one filming. I think Harry's filming a child and an instructor, and he's just going down the mountain filming them. Like I said, some people think it's AI.
And this is where it stops being about one video and starts becoming something much bigger. Because this isn't the first time. There is a growing history here, a pattern of content that doesn't quite hold up under scrutiny. Moments that feel staged, timelines that don't match, details that unravel the second someone looks a little closer. And the public has noticed. That's why every new post from Montecito is no longer received with admiration, it's received with suspicion. People don't just watch anymore, they verify. They cross-check dates. They analyze lighting. They compare footage. Because trust, it's gone. And once trust is gone, everything changes. Even the smallest detail becomes a clue. Take Harry's role in the video. If this is truly a child learning to ski for the first time, why is he filming from behind instead of staying close for safety? Any parent knows you don't stand back and record while your child navigates a potentially dangerous slope for the first time. You stay right there. So what are we really watching? A real moment or a staged one? A genuine memory or a carefully constructed narrative? That question alone is enough enough to keep people digging. And then comes the most brutal observation of all. Because when you strip everything away, the speculation, the timeline issues, the inconsistencies, what you're left with is something strangely empty. No emotion. No storytelling, no connection, just a distant figure in the snow. It doesn't feel real, it feels hollow. And that hollowness, it's becoming a signature. Every piece of Sussex content now carries it. Whether it's Netflix, podcasts, or Instagram posts, there's always something missing, something that doesn't quite land, and the audience can feel it. That's why this video didn't land as cute. It landed as suspicious. Because people aren't just reacting to this video, they're reacting to years of moments that didn't add up, years of narratives that shifted, years of carefully curated glimpses that felt more like branding than reality. So when this skiing clip appeared, it didn't stand alone. It became part of a larger story, a story where every detail is questioned, every claim is tested, and every new release is treated less like content and more like evidence. And maybe that's the most revealing part of all, because when your audience stops believing you, they don't just disengage, they investigate. And once that happens, the damage is already done. Because here's where it gets even darker. This wasn't just a random post dropped into the void. The timing is everything. And when you line it up with what was happening around Prince Harry at that exact moment, the entire situation starts to feel less like coincidence and more like calculated distraction. Harry was already under pressure. Headlines were circling, not flattering ones either. Courtroom drama, uncomfortable revelations, and whispers that refused to stay quiet. His ongoing legal battles were dragging his private life into public view again, and not in the heroic victim narrative way he prefers. No, this time the details were messy, contradictory, embarrassing. And right when those headlines start gaining traction, suddenly a wholesome family video appears. A child skiing, a father filming, a normal life. Too perfect, too convenient. It's the kind of timing that doesn't just raise suspicion, it screams strategy. Because this isn't new behavior. Every time pressure builds, every time uncomfortable truths surface, something soft appears, something emotional, something designed to shift the narrative. And it works, at least for a moment. The headlines pivot, the tone softens, the focus changes. But not this time, because this time people were ready. And what those people realized is something the Sussex machine clearly underestimated. The public remembers. They remember old photos, old timelines, old contradictions. You can't just drop a new narrative into the timeline and expect no one to check the receipts, because the receipts are everywhere. Archived articles, event photos, public appearances. Everything is documented. Everything is searchable. And the moment you try to pass off something old as new or something questionable as authentic, it only takes one person to spot it. And once one person sees it, thousands follow. That's exactly what happened here. The Trudeau photo wasn't hidden. It wasn't obscure. It was sitting in plain sight, tied to a completely different context. Harry promoting the Invictus Games in 2024. Not a family ski trip, not Archie's first lesson. A public, documented event. So why use it? Why let it be attached to this narrative? That's the question no one from their camp has answered. And the silence? It's loud. Because if there was a simple explanation, it would have been given immediately. A clarification, a correction, something to calm the storm. But instead, nothing. And when there's nothing, people fill the gap themselves. Some believe the video is old footage being repurposed. Others believe it may not even be Archie at all. And then there are those who take it even further, questioning whether parts of the clip show signs of digital manipulation, AI interference, or compositing. Are those claims proven? No. But here's the problem. They don't need to be. Because the mere fact that people are even asking those questions tells you everything about the level of trust that has been lost. Trust isn't just damaged, it's shattered. And once that happens, every future piece of content becomes contaminated by doubt. Even if something is real, it won't be believed. That's the trap. And the Sussexes walked straight into it. Now layer this with another pattern, one that has quietly repeated itself over and over again. Whenever negative press hits Harry, Meghan steps forward with something relatable. A casual outing, a soft focus moment, a carefully curated glimpse into motherhood, like the toy store visit, a perfectly timed appearance, photos circulating online, claims that the children were present but conveniently not visible due to privacy laws. Always there but never seen. Always referenced but never verified. It's the same structure. Presence without proof. Emotion without evidence. And people are starting to notice, because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Every move begins to feel like part of a script. Every moment begins to feel staged. And every authentic glimpse starts to feel manufactured. That critique hits harder than anything else because it cuts to the core. This isn't just about truth or lies, it's about effort, about quality, about intention, because real moments don't need this much explanation. Real moments don't collapse under basic scrutiny. Real moments don't trigger thousands of people to investigate them like a crime scene. But this did, and that tells you everything, because when content is genuine, it connects instantly. It feels human. It feels messy. It feels imperfect in a way that makes it believable. This didn't feel like that. It felt distant, controlled, almost like something designed to look real rather than be real. And that's a dangerous line to cross, especially for a couple whose entire brand is built on authenticity. Because once people start questioning that authenticity, the entire foundation crumbles. And that collapse isn't happening quietly. It's happening publicly, loudly, relentlessly. Inside Hollywood, the perception isn't much better. Behind the scenes, the whispers are even harsher, difficult to work with. Overly controlling, expecting influence without delivering results. And when that reputation spreads, doors start closing, quietly, permanently. Because in an industry built on collaboration, perception is everything. And once you're seen as more trouble than value, you're done. That's why this video matters. Not because of skiing, not because of Archie, because that's what this is starting to feel like. An illusion, carefully maintained, constantly adjusted, but slowly, inevitably breaking apart. And the skiing video, that wasn't just another post. It was a trigger, a moment that exposed just how fragile the entire narrative has become. Because when your audience turns into investigators, when your supporters turn into defenders instead of believers, when every post becomes a debate instead of a celebration, you don't have influence anymore. You have suspicion, and suspicion doesn't build empires. It destroys them. And the most shocking part, this didn't have to happen. It could have been avoided with transparency, with honesty, with consistency. But instead, what we're seeing now is the consequence of doing the opposite. A reality where even the simplest family moment becomes the biggest controversy. And the most dangerous part of all, this isn't the end. This is just the pattern repeating itself again and again and again until one day there's nothing left to believe.